clean damp cloth, so when the board goes down, it doesn't slide. So when you cut, it's going to take your weight. I need some cling wrap, like that, and chicken. Now these are chicken breasts that have been deboned. That is a huge chicken breast. That's what the boning knife is for. Got some of this sinew here. Just want to clean that up a little bit.
이쪽 부분을 살짝 불필요한 부분을 잘라내는 것입니다.
Just opening up that breast because we're going to stuff it later on with the guacamole. We cut that one in half because it's just way too big.
펼쳐준 닭가슴살을 중간에 잘라줍니다.
So we just get that like that. So basically we're just getting that out. What happens is we need the chicken breast flat so we can fold it over.
Oh, okay.
And then what we're going to do is breadcrumb it with stuffing.
Right.
Stuffing is going to be avocado and guacamole.
Oh, okay.
That we're going to make in a minute. So what happens is it's too thick right now. We're going to put something in it so we can actually fold it over and keep a shape. And then we're going to breadcrumb it.
Oh, right.
And then we're going to fry it and finish it off in the oven. So the other reason for smashing it down is it's breaking the muscle. It's actually bruising the meat to make it more softer and make it more easy to handle. So when it cooks in the shape that we want it to be looking like when it's finished. So what I'm going to do, it's a hard thing to hit it. You can hit with a corner like this, but you just want to be, it also makes it bigger because remember it was a bit this small. But this makes it bigger. So when we put the stuffing in next time, we'll have the shape to make the stuffing. Alright? So this is just going to go like this.
Okay.
And we're going to put this in the fridge for now to keep cold. And then we're going to come back, we create guacamole. So I'm just going to...
마늘을 찍고 계세요.
Because we want this for the stuffing, for the avocados. Very good.
How can we tell like avocados are ripened?
Okay, so we've had these avocados in our kitchen for a week. They're fairly soft. They're firm but soft.
Firm but soft.
Firm but soft.
Right.
You just feel it's a bit squeezy. If they're hard, they'll be as hard as this stainless steel. You can't use it.
여러분들이 직접 아보카도를 만져보면은 알 수 있을 것 같아요.
So the RoboCoupe has safety device. Too many people, too many old chefs used to put their fingers in.
Ah, really?
So it will not, this pushes this down and this has a little bar that pushes this down. It won't work unless all of the buttons are pushed down.
Okay. 네, 지금 설명을 해주시기에 로봇이라는 장비가 호주에서 많이 사용이 되는데 옛날에 셰프들이 이 손가락을 여기 안에 잘못 넣으셔가지고 많이 다치셨대요. 그래서 지금 장비 같은 경우는 지금 보시면은 이렇게 폼이 나와 있는 부분들이 많이 있는데 이런 게 다 장착이 돼야 작동이 된다고 지금 설명을 해주셨습니다.
So you can see, even with a spoon, I can cut the guacamole, the avocado. So we're doing a guacamole stuffing, which is a Mexican or South American stuffing. So in there goes the avocado, the garlic,
갈릭도 넣으세요.
And we put paprika or chili.
파프리카, 칠리, 그러니까 고추.
You can do either
가루,
chili, paprika,
반 스푼 정도.
cumin, which is again a spice,
또 다른 조미료, 큐먼을 넣어주시고요. 반 스푼 정도.
and a tiny bit of salt. And that's it. You can put some lemon juice in there, but
그리고 레몬 주스도 넣으실 거라고 합니다.
we call this cross-contamination when we're using the board for different things. But when you're using it for one thing and you're making one recipe, you're making it for now,
okay. Then that's okay.
that's okay, but you can't use meat and chicken. That's why I kept changing my chopping board. Okay, so you can see that this is attached now. If I do this, usually if it's not locked in, it won't do that.
Okay.
So
지금 선생님께서 저 이제 로봇 컵을 들어보셨는데 락딘, 그러니까 이게 제대로 안 끼워졌으면은 저렇게 될 수가 없다고 하시네요.
you can see that chopping. So this is chopping about 8,000 times every 30 seconds. So how I cut with a knife 20 times, this is 8,000 every 30 seconds.
그러니까 30초에 그러니까 채 썰기를 하면은 30초에 20번밖에 못 하는데 이거 같은 경우는 8,000번을 간다고 합니다. 지금 레몬도 좀 넣어주고 계시고요.
We want this to go inside the chicken.
지금 만든 과카몰리를 치킨 위에, 그러니까 치킨 중간에 넣어주신다고 합니다.
So this is our basic preparation to get started with the chicken later on. The other thing we need to do is we need some breadcrumbs, we need some flour, basic flour,
지금 이제 그 다음 단계에 필요한 거는 그 빵 조각들과 밀가루, 계란이라고 합니다.
Okay. So they should have the chicken.
네, 지금
There has been chicken.
치킨과 그리고 과카몰리가 준비되어 있어야 한다고.
Should have the chicken like that.
저런 모양을 하고 있는 치킨을 가지고 있어야 되고.
So what we're going to do is, even though it's on the plastic, we have a guacamole, which is here. There's mine. Onto the chicken.
큰 스푼에 뭐 한 스푼 정도를 치킨 위에 올려놓으시면 되겠습니다.
This can be done with ham, cheese, any stuffing you like. It can be done with the rice and mushroom. I'm going to put my board down for a second because I'm going to need it to finalise these. So when we do this, we can just roll that over like that.
치킨을 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 반을 접어서 그대로 과카몰리 위로 딱 반이 되게 접어주시면 되겠습니다. 보이시죠? 설명하시는 거.
맞아요. I might give these a bit of a trim.
저 긴 끝쪽을 조금씩 잘라내 주신다고 합니다. Why are you cutting off the end?
Just because it'll, when it cooks, it's going to curl up and dry up, like this one. So, and plus I want to have two which are pretty much the same size.
Same size.
Once they've done that, we will put that in the freezer.
Okay.
Because that helps hold together for when we're going to put it through that.
Okay.
2 eggs, we're just doing this, just to mix the eggs up.
계란을 2개를 저런 식으로 섞어주시면 되겠습니다.
Some people add milk or water to it to make it more, because what happens is when the flour goes to the egg, it becomes very gooey. And then when it becomes gooey, the crumbs will stick to it. So it's not quite 10 minutes, is it?
It's not even 10. It's been like
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
So let's see how good you... What happens now is you've got to be very... This is going to just fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's been in the freezer for about 10 minutes, it's going to hold. So we have to be very careful You can do that. Pepper.
여기에 페퍼를 뿌려주시고 보통 이제 10분 정도 냉동실에 넣었다가 빼게 되면은 저 모양이 정확하게 잘 잡혀 있으니까 어렵지 않을 거라고 생각해요.
Then it's the egg. Got to be very gentle because it'll fall apart.
지금 이제 냉동실에 넣었다가 뺀 시간이 별로 되지 않기 때문에 굉장히 조심해 주셔야 됩니다. 밀가루를 묻혀주시고 계란을 묻혀주세요. 그리고 이제 빵가루를
This is a panko breadcrumb, which is a Japanese style breadcrumb.
이제
But I'm sure you guys have better ones over there.
네, 이 빵가루 같은 경우는 일본 스타일의 빵가루라고 하시네요.
See how it sticks in my hands as well. Obviously you're going to crumb 300 of these. They will be on trays. There will be one person here, one person here, and one person here.
Right, okay.
And I've been in front of me, they do 300 to 500 of these.
Really?
Yes. So I've just made enough to crumb these two. I can make 4 or 6, I could make another 2 out of there, but I just wanted to demonstrate how to do that and just be gentle with it. See how soft that is because it's not been in a cool room or the fridge. The longer it's in the fridge, the protein starts to hold together. The meat starts to hold together.
지금 만들어 놓은 거를 냉동실에 아까 넣으라고 말씀을 드렸잖아요. 그래서 10분에서 뭐 15분 정도 두면은 단백질이 이렇게 얼면서 이렇게 꽉 잡는다고 하네요. 그래서 더 이제 지금 우리가 만드는 걸 쉽게 만들 수 있다고 설명을 해주셨습니다.
Now, a lot of restaurants and a lot of places will reuse this and this. They will strain them and use it if it's on the same day. The danger being poultry is the cross-contamination from this. The juice from the chicken is still in the breadcrumbs.
That's true.
Okay. So we've got 2. We're going to cook 2 different ways.
네, 우리가 지금 2개를 가지고 있고 2개를 다른 방법으로 요리를 할 예정이에요.
This is a tray for the oven.
지금 이 트레이 같은 경우는 오븐을 위한 트레이입니다.
We are going to spray here.
스프레이 오일을 그 위에 뿌려주고
We're going to cook one just like this in the oven so we can see the difference by baking in the oven or frying and finishing in the oven.
네, 지금 선생님께서 이제 여러분들에게 차이점을 보여드릴 거는 지금 여러분들도 이렇게 동일하게 하나만 오븐에 넣어주시고 하나는 이제 튀길 거예요. 그래서 선생님께서 베이킹을 하는 것과 튀기는 것의 차이점을 보여주신다고.
So this one will need about 25 to 30 minutes in the oven.
Alright.
So I'm going to put this in straight away.
25분에서 30분 정도 걸리기 때문에 바로 지금 넣으시라고 합니다. 182도입니다, 여러분. 182도. 182도에서 20분에서 25분 정도 요리를 하신다고 합니다.
So now we're going to use the induction cooker. So that can also be done in a deep fry where you drop it deep in oil as well. So that's another way of doing it.
Oh, okay.
So now we're going to do a variation. We're going to do shallow frying, which will be in the fry pan. Turn it over until it just starts to get a bit of colour, and then we're going to finish it in the oven, which gives it the same outcome as the deep frying. Okay, so Australia became very diet conscious to cut cholesterol and fats down. Very, very fat conscious now. Less fat. However, I'm using butter. This is cow butter. So the problem with that, it's going to burn very quickly. So for me to be able to cook in that, this gives a lot of nice flavour.
지금 버터를 올려놓으셨는데 버터가
I'm using oil as well. The oil,
풍미를 더해주고
sorry, the oil stops the butter from burning.
이렇게 오일을 이렇게 넣어주신 이유는 버터 같은 경우는 조금 이렇게 녹이시고 요리를 하기 전에 탈 수가 있는데 오일을 넣어주시면은 타는 걸 막아준다고 하시네요.
Being induction, the reason the induction stoves were created is because of some places don't have enough gas. So this is just as powerful as a strong gas jet.
지금 인덕션을 사용한 이유가 이게 통용화된 게 가스만큼 강한데 그 가스가 강하지 않은 곳들이 많이 있어서 이 인덕션이 많이 통용이 된다고 합니다. 그러니까 이 인덕션 같은 경우 가스만큼의 요리를 할 수 있다고 하시네요. 지금 선생님께서 말씀을 하시는데 이게 알렉스 선생님 버전의 KFC라고 말씀을 해주셨어요.
We just want to watch that so it starts to get a bit of colour. See, even there it's starting to crack a little bit. That's where the stuffing is. So it can come out. That's why the one in the oven should hold, because it's not being moved. Once you move it while it's cooking, it's a little bit dodgy.
네, 지금 보시면은 이제 오일로 하는 거는 이 요리가 충분히 되기 전에 뒤집어서 지금 깨졌다고 하시네요.
You just got to be gentle and handle it with a respect, so it doesn't break apart, and just so we get it nice and gentle. You can't rush some things. If we were in a deep fry, we could just drop it in, walk away, and do 10 other jobs. But this is just something simple anyway. It doesn't take long to start burning.
지금 보이는 것처럼 살짝 이제 타는데 시간이 그렇게 오래 걸리지 않는다.
That one's going to go in the oven. We put this in now. They should both be ready pretty close to the same time.
네, 지금 얇게 지금 튀긴 것도 같이 오븐에 넣을 건데.
So the first one we put in the oven has been in maybe 7 or 8 minutes. I'm just going to pull that out. I just want to show where it's up to at the moment.
처음에 있는 거를 빼서 어느 정도 요리가 되어 있는지 여러분들에게 보여드린다고 합니다.
So do you see the difference in the colour? The first one is starting to get coarse, and I can feel it's starting to get cooked. And this one is the one we did in the fry pan. I'm going to give this a bit more oil.
요리되는 것, 조금 요리되는 걸 여러분들이 보실 수가 있습니다.
Usually we can brush oil onto it, but we just want that oil to start to get that colour. I need that colour on that one. So these are going to be about 10 or so minutes more, 10 to 15 minutes.
방금 뿌린 거는 오일이에요.
Yeah, so the oil is going to cook the breadcrumbs to get that golden colour like the other one. So there's a lot less oil on that first one. So the second one we did in the pan, it's already got colour, but I really need a bit more colour on that one. So this is a recipe card and this is some of the instructions. What this says, the recipe here says to just cook it in the oven. So I'm following this recipe to bake it in the oven. I don't like that. That's why I do it 2 ways. So when the chicken comes out of the oven, we're going to do what's called resting. Resting, like having a suntan. So any meat, whether it's chicken, fish, beef, pork, is muscle, it's meat. Even though it's been killed, the meat's general reaction is to go like that.
tighten.
Yeah, so can you explain the muscles are contracted?
Yeah, of course.
So what happens, even while it's cooking in the oven, how we put the chicken together, the proteins are helping the meat hold together, but also the meat goes like this. So all the juice is cooking, and then when it comes out of the oven, when it rests, it just slowly relaxes. That's why resting, it slowly stops the compression of the cooking process. So we're just going to have a look at the first one, the one that we sprayed a moment ago.
네, 첫 번째 거를 확인을 하신다고 합니다.
Now, you see we've got a little bit more colour. I'm going to put that in for another 2 minutes.
2분 더,
Another shot.
1분 더 넣어주신다고 합니다.
So this is just a very basic garnish of parsley and lemon. The parsley and lemon will contrast as colour on the plate. The reason for the lemon juice or the lemon,
파슬리랑 레몬이 사실은 이제 꾸밀 때 이제 그 색깔이 대비되어서 때 장식하는 데 좋다 보시면 되죠.
so the lemon works as a degreaser.
degreaser.
For the oil that's on the chicken, anything that's fried is very oily and heavy. The lemon helps cut it a little bit, so people can, if they don't like anything too rich, that helps cut it down a little bit. So this is just parsley. It just gives a lot of European type of a flavour, the parsley in soups and sauces, but it also just looks pretty on a plate. Some people eat it, but anything that goes on a plate should be edible. Okay, so we start the resting process now for about at least 2 minutes. Piece of pork, that was in the oven for 3 hours, we do 15 minutes or so. 2 minutes, maybe 3. Only because we're going to cut it. If we weren't going to cut it, we'd send it out like that to the restaurant right now. We're going to cut it and see if we made the stuffing properly and see how it looks inside. So going back to the paper, what we were saying about this, you see, if this was on the tray, we would have to scrub this and get the water to go down the drain. The tray should be nearly clean. So now it just needs to wipe down. Still would be hot water, but if this goes straight into the rubbish chute, and this is a lot easier to clean. Okay, this is the one I started with a pan, and that's the inside of it.
이게 지금 안쪽의 모습입니다.
So just enough to do that. Just to give it a little bit of colour.
색깔을 더해주기 위해서 넣어주시면 좋습니다.
So this is the one we did just with spraying the oil on the oven. I'm hoping it's cooked. Because in the oven, on the pan, it cooks a lot more. So I'll just cut this one.
이것 요리가 되어 있기를 바란다.
Okay, so that's a lot different.
Is it?
Yeah, well it is because the stuffing hasn't evaporated. So the stuffing has evaporated there because of the fry pan. The reason for this here is just to give it a bit of a colour contrast because they're very basic and bland looking fish. Obviously we would serve it with vegetables or a salad or something like that, or slice it up and serve it with some sort of vibrant salad or something. But this is just a one-off recipe just to give a few pointers on what we do, how we do it, how the oven works, the sustainability, using knives, using equipment. There's a lot that goes into this to get the basics of what we require. This is the basics that students will do in the first week or two.